Hello guys, my name is Rency and today we will discuss about our topic. So let's we start. Money is what the world revolves around. It's easy to get caught up in healthy, unhealthy behavior. It's healthy to make money a priority and to provide for yourself and your family. It's unhealthy or to sacrifice your life and your family just so you can get rich. As we have seen from Synthesis quote, the problem of unhealthy money behavior is not a new problem. Uh, they they dealt with the same problem 2000 years ago, and probably from the moment money became important in society around 600 BC. In my experience, Stoicism provide a great mental model for dealing with money. Just like you shouldn't get attached to your emotions and you shouldn't get attached to the pursuit of wealth. Always remind yourself that you acquire money for a reason, and that reason is primarily of a function to in society. The Stoic didn't think being very rich determined a person's happiness. What's all that money good for when you don't enjoy your life or when you miss important events in your life, family's life? We and the people we love all are going to die. It might sound morbid, but it's really good thing to remind ourselves. Sensesa regularly meditated on the loss of money. Sometimes he spent entries day parentending. He had no money. He would be wear old clothes and eat little and sleep on the ground. He learned what that having no money wasn't something he should fear. When you have some money, you are often afraid of losing it. But not the Stoic. They believed we shouldn't get attached to anything. Whatever it is money, status, object, a job, and even people. I like Sensesa's method and a method of reminding himself he didn't need to be rich. Imagine that you don't have any money today. Skip your daily luxuries. Live simply. Even if it's for a day or two, it reminds you that simple is not bad. You will have something that people who are addicted to freedom don't real freedom. After all, isn't the true definition of being wealthy or not having to worry about money, on inspiring money? I really enjoy talking about Stoicism with you because it has a practical use in daily life. When the stock market was down a while back, I added the same amount of money. I add every month without a flinch. I look at my account, so I was down thousands of dollars, and in a day I would freak out on the cited market downturn. But now I try to remember that it's normal and I'm not afraid to of loss because I know it's temporary. And if the whole financial system call crash, so be it. I will have other things to work on if catastrophe like that happened. When psychology and when philosophy is so powerful that it change your life, you want to talk about it with others. The other day I was having a dinner with several members of my extended family. The dinner time conversation was mostly about negative things like COVID, new variants, crime, inflation, social media, mental health problems, you name it. I didn't say much, but at some point I said, "Why do you guys talk to so much about things you don't control?" No answer. The conversation simply circled back to politics, which is basically where most conversation end up these days. I stopped myself right there. I used to think that it was my job to tell others about Stoicism because it's such as a helpful philosophy. But that's not what the Stoic did. In fact, they didn't talk about Stoic with people who didn't care about the philosophy. Instead, they practiced what they purchased and kept to themselves. As Epictetus once said, Sheep don't bring their own owner's grass to show how much they are, how much they eat, and instead they digest it and produced milk and wool. Similarly, don't make a show of principle you live by. Instead, live by them fully and show other by your actions how much you have learned and made it your own. When we try to tell people about stoicism and about how they shouldn't waste their time on things they don't control, we are actually making a show of our principles. We are saying, look at me, I found the answer of my life. Just do this and everything will be better. At least this is how much most people perceives it, but it doesn't matter how people look at it. What matters is that we live according to our principles. The reason Epictetus said we shouldn't make a show of the principle we live by is that most people interpret is it the wrong way when you try to help. You might think, I want to help this person by passing on ancient advice for living better, while the recipient thinks, why is this person telling me this? I'm not stupid. This person is just trying to show off. The best way to inspire others is by being a good person and performing your duties in life, no matter what happens. Every day we wake up and do the things we have to do simply because that's our mission, not because we need to prove to others we are living according to certain principles. What you'll find is some people will come to you and ask about how you do to it. When others are interested in your ideas or advice, be g- be be generous and share as much as you want. The world will only be better if more of us share what we have learned, and the more you practice what you believe in, the more credible you will be. All of that without showing off. Managing your career. If you accomplish something good with hard work and the labor pass quickly, but the good endures. If you do something shameful in pursuit of pleasure, the pleasure passes quickly, and but the shame endures. On resting versus working, I took a few days of last week because I wanted to rest. It's something I learned from Dale Carnegie. He writes in How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. Rest before you are tired. It's great piece of advice for avoiding burnout. But for most of my career, I used to wait to take a break until I was already tired and running on fumes. It's like drinking water and you are thirsty. The way to avoid thirst is to stay hydrated. It's the same thing when it comes to resting your body. When you are getting signals from your body that you need to rest, and it's important to listen. What are you some of those signals? I bet you know it. You probably just ignore it, like most of us. Frequent headache, heavy eyes, sleeping badly, waking up several times in the night, and not being able to focus during the day is one of the getting against and getting agitated quickly, the usual trace of a person who's behaving irritably. I will train myself to recognize those signals, and when I see even just some of the stuff, I take a break from most of my goals and work and rest. So I took a few days of last week. Work is important, but being healthy and enjoyed matters more. It is no one interested to beat yourself up until a point of you can't function. That's why everyone needs their rest. But sometimes a short rest is not going to solve it. Sometimes resting can turn into a lifestyle of a soul. When you always are looking forward to resting, it makes you lazy. This is not something we like to hear, but it's the truth. I would have been here. It used to be that after every single day of work, I couldn't wait to to rest on the couch and watch another episode of my favorite TV show. By Wednesday, I was already looking forward to the weekend so I could rest. Sensa, who was a proponent of a lifestyle, was also against too much rest. He said sometimes rest itself is restless. This is why we must be roused to action and kept busy by the performance of skilled arts whenever this soul which cannot bear itself puts us in a bad state. What type of life is that? I was trying to find relief in rest. I was avoiding work, and the truth was that I didn't enjoy my career at the time, and that was causing a lot of stress. So I didn't sleep well. Since I talk about why that happens, there is no calm response except when reason has salted it. Night causes disturbance rather than remove it and merely change our worries. In fact, the dreams of sleepers are as troublesome as their days. The real calm is when a good state of mind unfolds. When you are carefully worried about your worried and your entry's life is filled with money and with worry. Sometimes the answer is not just to rest, but to find a way to stop worrying. If there's something in your life that's causing chronic stress, either change it or accept it. There is no use in letting it negatively impact your health. But if you have been working a lot and you are getting agitated, taking a short break will change your body and mind. You will be excited to get back to work again, which is the default state of mind of a healthy person. If you find pleasure in your work, you won't yearn for rest all the time, only when you exactly and actually need it. On doing what life expect of you. Growing up, and I often heard stuff like, "You can be anything you want," and that motivated me to do well in school, to take care of my body, and to decide time and energy to building a career. The idea that I can do anything we want is very inspiring, but it's also false. Another thing I often heard was, "You're the director of your own movie." That's supported to motivate you to take matters into your own hand, to be the maker of your own life. While there's some wisdom in that, the Stoic philosopher Epicurus had a slightly different perspective on what life actually is. He said, "Consider yourself as an actor in a play. The nature of the play, whatever short or long, is for the director to decide it. The director will also decide to whatever your role is one of a poor person and a rich person, a cripple, a king, or a commoner. So you as an actor to do not decide these things. I like an accomplished actor, you need to perform that role assigned to you in life skillfully. The responsibility for deciding what role you play rests with someone else." The first time I read that, and I found it a bit sad. I thought every person was the director of the play and also the actor, but we need to see things for what they are. There are some things in life that are handed to us, and we can't change those things. I always appreciate the humility of Warren Buffett when he's asked about how he became the most successful investor of all time. He argues that a big part of success is winning the ovarian lottery. He recognized that he was lucky to be born as a white male in the United States. During a time, the founder of value investing, Benjamin Graham, lived at Berkshire Hathaway's annual shareholder meeting that he holds with his business partner, Charlie Munger. He talked about how lucky they both were. When we were born, the odds were over 30 to 1 against being born in the United States, just winning that portrait of the lottery and the lottery. Anonymous plus. Buffett is obviously being very humble. The man is an absolute genius. But would he be the same if he was born in another country in a different era? He would probably do well, but he wouldn't be the greatest investor of all time. This is a hard thing to accept, but in today's society, we believe everything is limitless, including our own potential. We see people on social media living luxurious lives. At our jobs, we see people who are younger and less experienced getting promoted. And when we go home, our parents or partners wonder, why are you not the CEO by now? While we often think we are being encouraging or hopeful when we all tell ourselves and others that we can do anything we want, we also have our limitation. Sometimes will the odds are stacked against us. Not everyone will reach the top of company, sport or social life and social hierarchy. That's the nature of life, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we collectively ignore the facts of life. The problem is that we live in a constant state of dissatisfaction. The way I see it, the unhappiness of the developed world comes from this phone me on. It's not about that our lives are bad. We just think our lives are bad and expect that could or should be limitless and extraordinary. I should be a millionaire, world champion with 500,000 followers on social media. Wake up, my friend, that's not real life. As both Epicurus and Buffett point out, there are certain things outside of your control and of our control. The good thing about living in the 21st century is that we have the opportunity to improve our life situation. That wasn't true in Epicurus' time. When you were born poor, you would stay poor. That's no longer true. But the truth of the Ovarian lottery will never change. Where you are born and what your family's social social economic status, your physical shape, and what your natural talent are, and so forth. That's all written the day you came to this earth. But we can still make the best of what's given to us. We can see ourselves as an actors in a play, and we play that role is the best way we can. On being your own witness. Over the past year, most of us have been working from home and spending more time than the usual on our own throughout the day. There is no one who's watching what we are doing. It's been the perfect self-awareness exercise of to figure out what our true motives are. So often we are motivated by getting the approval of other people. The jobs we take, the books we read, the clothes we buy, and the pictures we take for a social media, and the people we associated with. We do those things because we want to be liked by others. I can't lie. I would live the majority of my life that way. I only stopped looking for outside approval once I started applying stoicism of my life. Reading Seneca Marcus Aurelius and Epicurus has reminded me that life is not about how people perceives you. It's all about what you think to yourself and think of yourself. At the end of the day, you all spend the most time with that voice in your head. That's why it's important to actually like yourself. This might sound weird, but do you enjoy spending time alone? Yes, I also like. And even if it's a few minutes, or are you always thinking about what other people are doing, or what so and so said about you yesterday, or as I often did, thinking about how you somehow can get ahead in life? So, when you are always thinking about external things, You risk living your life just to please others. So when we do that, we lose our character. Pictures said it best. You are compromise your integrity when you seek out approval. Be satisfied that you live up to your rational principle. Be your own witness, and if you need even, you don't need any more witness than that. I can relate it to the that a lot. As kind, we are all conditioned to please other. We get we get good grades, so our teachers and parents will say good job. And in fact, we need people's approval as a kid and as a kids, otherwise we can never finish school. So that the sad thing is that this conditioning remains alive in the most adults. We feel like everything is about approval. In our intimate relationship, we want to make our partner happy. In our case, in our careers, we want to make our boss and co-workers happy. In our business, we want to please our customers, and all of that is great, but it should never be the primary reason we do something. So in a relationship, we should enjoy spending time with other our or parents and our partners. And our job, we should be pleased with our job and with the job we do. In our business, we should be proud of the business and product and service we offer. Whatever there is a witness or not, we should still do what we do. I wasn't like that at all in the past. When I played basketball in high school, I would show up at 3:59 p.m. and when our practice was at 4 p.m. and I would never work out on my off days. And when I had a corporate job, I would work harder when I was surrounded by my teammates and boss. When my boss was off, I would slack off more. And in the evenings and weekends, I didn't care much about my work. My witness were external. Looking back, it wasn't fair to my teammates, coach, boss, and even to myself. When you are not self motivated, you are never performed at your best. What do you do when no one's watching? Your action during those moments define you. You do work because it matters to you. Do you show up early because you are excited to practice? Do you read books because you want to learn? Seriously. Do you think of your parents because you are care about them? I don't think so. And when you are giving everything to your best, when one's watching, you know that you are the only whiteness you need. That the epitome of self motivation. And we often look at other for motivation, but we should look within. By changing your mindset and becoming your own witness, you never need other people to motivate you. You are always there to keep yourself accountable on being precise with your words. Have you noticed how easy it so to talk and how hard is it so to write? Somehow we put more effort into being precise when we write. We try to be as clear as possible, but when we speak, we tend to go on and on without saying much. Sometimes during conversation with others, I catch myself starting as a sentence without awareness of what I actually want to say. That's simply talking for the sake of talking. Even when we talk without awareness, we tend to say things that makes no sense or are not precise. For example, many of us make judgmental observations. Pictures explained this point is well. If someone baths quickly, don't say he doesn't bath properly. Say he baths quickly. If someone drinks a lot, and don't say he is a drunk. Say he drinks a lot. Unless you know the reason for their actions, how can you be sure of their negative judgment of front and of them? And not judging other too quickly will save you from misprevixing then actions. This happens all the time these days, especially on the internet. Someone doesn't like X, therefore the person is Y, and the Y is always a label that people use. Someone is a hater, uh, denier, sheep, extremist, global, and so forth. Every time people make that types of observations, and it means they are making bad observation. But that doesn't mean people are bad or imprecise thinkers. We can only say they are making imprecise observations. One of the fundamental and foundational ideas in Stoicism is that we don't know what people think. Hence, we should avoid making assumptions but about why people do certain things. And yet, this is the favorite pastime of many people. And yet, this is the favorite pastime of many people. We love to speculate and about why people do or say things. That means we really on assumptions and made up stories, not on facts. If there's something else and something less prices than that, it I would love to know. To live like a stoic, practice prescience in your words. You can start practicing with writing. When you write, you have more time to think about what you say. And when you write a sentence, you can take a few seconds to think about it. Hit backspace and start fresh. You can't do that in conversations. On harsh fact about people is that when you say something to them, it's hard to forget. When you are in a hated argument and you call someone names, they feel hurt. You can't hit backspace on that. We often say I didn't mean it that way. Being precise in your words goes beyond avoiding and exemptions. It also means you say what you mean and that you use your words to communicate properly. Before I started studying and applying Stoicism, I have to admit I didn't pay attention to being precise in the way I communicated. I would just blurt out the first time and first thing that I popped up in my mind. Most of the time, that doesn't lead to issues. But when you have important conversation and it can cause problems. For example, if you are having an argument with your spouses and things get emotional, saying the wrong time can you make everything worse. If you say something like maybe we shouldn't split up, you can just take it back a few seconds later. Or if you are having a conversation with a business partner and you say I don't know if this will succeed, you might think you are being thoughtful, and the other person might think you're like self confidence. I like to write a lot of because it forces me to be a clear, which also translate into the preciousness of my words when I talk. Every time you write something important and take the time to edit your writing several things times for a clarity. When you write and speak with clarity, you automatically become a good communicator. Think of all the benefits the Stoicism has. It will not only help you to deal with your emotions, it also help you to improve your relationship with others through effective communication. Without Stoicism, I wouldn't be writing with this later idea. Isn't that fascinating? And it all started with reading the precise words of Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius on the counter-intuitive power of doing less. The other day, I was talking to a friend who works out a lot. He said he injured his knee and couldn't exercise his lower body much. So I asked how it happened, and he said, I just took on too much. He was running several times a week and going to boxing class with her twice a week. And he also lifted weights a few times a week. When you take more than your body can handle, your inevitability get injured of if you don't also take care to recover like a professional health. So many of us have this internal voice that says do more, whatever that's doing for fun things on the weekend or talking on more at work. We often have the tendency to do more because when we think that's somehow better, and that's how we end up living overly busy lives full of more goals, tasks, projects, money, vacations, clothes, experiences, exercise, and so forth. There are many times I get excited about my work and feel good, and because I enjoy working and being active, I do it a lot. I might write a lot, record podcast, create a new videos, take on more work at my family business, and also do more fun things like a travel. My mindset during those time is nothing is enough. I can do more of everything, but those moments are never long lasting, right? Because it's like you're in this crazy sugar rush. You are like a 6 year old who ate a bag of stickless and only wants to go, but after sometimes you crash hard. The post sugar high crash is pretty bad because you feel so drained, you only want to sleep. And if you kept living from life more one high to others, you never have any real peace. Or like my friend with the busted knee, you end up injuring yourself. But uh, but we don't want to live from injury to other with someone healthy bounds in between. You get injured, recover, get again paid because you couldn't work out, pick things up again, and go hard until you get injured again. And so the cycle repeats itself. There is a better way of living. As the philosopher King Marcus once wrote, if you seek to tranquility, do less. It's counterintuitive because so often your innate drives to is to do more, and because more so often seems like to signify better. But when we do less, we can be more consistent. We can pay attention to the thing that really matters to you and to us. Elias continued to do what's NSTL, what the logos of a social beings requires, and in a requesting way which brings a double satisfaction to do less better, because most of what we say and do it is not essential. If you can eliminate it, you all have more time and more tranquility. Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? We need to eliminate unnecessary accumulations as well. I like to think about that question often. In fact, you can do it with me. Ask, what's something I'm doing that I can easily do without? Maybe it's a side project that is only making you frustrated. Maybe it's going out with co-workers every signal Friday and single Friday. It could be anything. Say no. At least for now, you can always decide to pick something up again. And the goal is to clear your mind of an excess clutter. Focus on what's important. On finishing what you start. On finishing what you start. In life, sometimes it's more important that you see your plans throughout until the end then, and to have the perfect plan. I remember when I was in my first year of college, and so many of my classmates were doubting themselves. We studied business administration, and many weren't sure whatever the degree would be exactly what they needed. My friend would consistently look at the other degrees and compare. What if I should get a different degree? So I did none of that. But back then I also had no clue with I wanted to do after I graduated. I knew one thing. I had made a decision and I was committed to sticking with it until the end. It was just 4 years, and I knew that I didn't want to be in a specialized field. So I didn't worry about whatever my degree was perfect. And so I didn't worry about whatever my degree was perfect. I focused on studying, enjoying my time at college, and making sure I finished my degree within 4 years. Out of the people I knew who quit the degree, most become cronies and quitters. One of them truly was in the wrong place. He ended up becoming a psychotherapist, and sometimes, sorry, it's us, a physiotherapist. And sometimes you make the wrong plan and start going on the wrong decision and wrong direction, and you really do not need to course correct. We need to be self-aware enough to realize that whatever we want to quit because something is hard or are not too wrong path. Too often we put too much weight on our decision, which causes anxiety and overwhelm. The reality is that many things are not permanent. You can get a degree in the business and end up working in art. You can have a job at a restaurant and end up as an investor. Life is long. Sometimes we push things that don't work out, but as long as you can focus on seeing things through, you become stronger and smarter. If you do what you say, you become reliable. This is something the Stoic often talk about. To them, living according to Stoic values matter more than what you did. How do you think is what matters? Here's what Epicurus said: once you undertake and to do something, stick with it hard and treat it as something that should be carried through. Don't pay attention to what people say. It should not influence you in any way. Once we set our mind and to doing something, we will not only have to deal with our own inner resistance, but as Epicurus said, with what people say. Are you sure? Are you sure like this is the right thing? That's something people often ask us when we want to do something new. And whatever that's picking a career and starting a business, getting married, pursuing a degree, and traveling the world, you name it. When asked, "Are you sure?" many of us start doubting ourselves. Maybe the person asking the question wants to help you to taking and to think things through, or maybe they purposefully want you to doubt yourself so you don't take action. It doesn't matter whatever people have good or bad intention. What matters is that you don't let people influence. If you want to do something and you know it's the right thing to do, go for it. Finish what you start. As long as we are not harming others or ourselves, we can pursue anything we want. Just to make you're sure you're crazy and you carry through your plans. When you do that consistently, you can truly rely on yourself. After all, you know that you will do what you say. You can trust yourself on shaping your future. How do you feel about your life right now? Forget about everything that's going on in the world. Look at the personal thing that matters to you. For most of us, it's our character, consistency, happiness, health, those kind of things. The things that we have power over. Are those things better today compared to a year ago? If they aren't better, are they at least the same? If not, I beat there is some area in your mind that's gaining at you during those quiet times. Before I got on this path of continuous improvement and love of wisdom, I had many moments where I thought, what am I doing with my life? Not in a career or success type of way. I didn't think about accomplishing and any big goal or something like that. And I often had is this feeling that I wasn't getting the most of out of my mind and body. All the passive lived made my life stagnant, and then I started to extrapolate my life. As Epicurus said, there is no need to consult astrologers to predict the future. You can simply look at your action today and look at the common result you get. If you never, if you if you never learn new things, you want to be any smarter in life. If you never challenges yourself physically, you won't be any stronger in a year. These are the only things that are within our control. That's why worrying about things like the economy or geopolitics is fruitless. Epicurus said the overall future of the world is not something we control, and therefore it should be nothing to us. However, our action should be everything to us. By changing your action today, and you can shape your tomorrow. Here's what I did to make that changes. I started to read 2 books and a week for 3 years. I started to lift weight and run consistently. I started writing books and creating course. I didn't focus on external goals like how much money I earned or whatever I had the perfect beach body. When you do things that improve yourself, it's only a matter of time before you entry life changes. But here's the key: if you want to make a change, when you are on your journey, 99% of the time you will feel like there's no progress. You just keep going at it. You learn, work at your job, exercise, and you will probably feel tired at the end of the day. That's the feeling of a good day's work. That's the feeling you should cherish, and it's a sign that you are moving forward. Instead of getting frustrated because you are not seeing any big progress from day to day, look at how you feel at the end of the day. If you can't get to sleep, worrying and feeling bad because your life is stagnated, it's the time to make a change. But when you are in a bed and you are tired because you squeezed the most out of your days, and you are on your path of shaping your future. You are becoming smarter, better, and stronger. Being with people, it never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. On the liberation of keeping think to yourself. In the Netherlands, where I grew up, and we have this saying that can't quite be translated into English. Remained in Zin Veranda Latin. Lucy translate from the Dutch. It means that you should simply accept people and avoiding trying to convince them. But that's not what it actually means. If you translate that sentence word for word, it says, leave someone in their own worth. The true meaning behind that saying is that you want someone to keep their dignity. You don't want to attack their beliefs and belittle them because you happen to think differently. And the other day, I was talking to one of my neighbors who self-employed. He installs a water treatment system as the companies and people's homes. So he meets many individuals every day. We were talking about lately the debates people are having about vacancy at work on in social situation. He used that saying. He said one of his best friend has an opposing view, but he just accept him for who is he. Out of curiosity, I asked him to what he meant by learned in Zen word learnt. In the specific context, he said that when his friend tries to convince him with all these types of precious YouTube videos, he just listened to his friend, and then his friend eventually stopped talking about it because he doesn't feed him. My neighbor kept keep to himself, even with his best friend who has a different view on certain topics. That's the only way you can stay real friends with people who have opposing views, by not judging each other and letting people keep their dignity. If you have chosen a simple life, don't make a show of it. If you want to practice simplicity, you do so quietly to yourself and yourself, not for others. That's one of the things Epicurus taught in his philosophy school in Nicopolis, Anasiat, Greece. And when I discovered philosophy for the first time, I wanted to share it with everyone I knew, and it's natural that when you find something that really has a positive impact on your life, you also want to same for others. Wanting to help people you see struggling is a good instinct, but an important principle of stoicism is to keep think to yourself and only talk about the philosophy with others who practice it. Seneca would discuss Stoic principle in his letters to, to his good life and to his good friend Lucical, but he would say, withdraw into yourself as far as you can, associated with those who will make a better man of you. They might sound selfish, but it's actually a very noble thing. And the Stoic accepted everyone for who they were. They didn't bother trying to change people's views. Is actually a rather respectful stance. Often, when we try to change someone's point of view, it's because we don't really understand, and or haven't even tried to understand when they think we the way they do. Just look at how people who politically and politically lean to the left judge, and the people who lean to the right, and vice versa. I wonder what Epicurus would do if he were alive today. Would he have social media? Would he show off his simple life on YouTube? Would he tweet his wisdom? Whatever it would be, I think he would only focus on teaching his ideas to people who actually cared about Stoicism. It's hard to imagine Epicurus posting a picture of himself in his new car or something like that. We will never know what he would do. It also doesn't matter. We knew that the Stoic lived for themselves. If you want to live for yourself, you also want to keep things to yourself as much as you can. There is no need to comment on everything you hear and see. Just let others be. That's not only the noblest things you can do, it also gives you more lasting pleasure because you are valuing yourself the most on learning from people's negative behavior. Have you noticed how we are often quick to judge others when they behave badly, but don't look at ourselves with that same critical eyes? I was at a store last week when someone got angry because I stored clean couldn't accept an item the customer wanted to return. I didn't catch what the reason was, a customer started, but the customer started cursing and asking for the manager. When the manager showed up, the situation got worse because nothing changed about the policy. The customer wanted to return something but didn't get their way. I'm sure there was a valid reason for refusing, and the return. Was the aggressive behavior valid? Of course not. We all have a sense of what's right and wrong when we see it, but not too so much when we are in it. I remember how I once got angry at a bank employee. I applied for a new account at the bank, and they called me up and asked me a bunch of questions. It was their policy, but somehow the person really annoyed me, so I started raising my voice and saying that it was a bullshit to ask me those questions. We got into a shouting match, and I said they should cancel my request. After I hang up and I was angry for the rest of the day. Sometime later, I was reading Marcus Aurelius' meditation when I stumbled upon a quite couldn't be more relevant. When faced with people's bad behavior, turn around and ask when you have act like that, when when you saw money as a good or a pleasure or a social position, your anger will subside as soon as you recognize that they except under contemplation. I love this perspective from Arius, who was arguably the most powerful person in the West, because it's humble. It's humble. Instead of judging others and leaving them as bad people, the who looks at their behavior and then looks at himself. This is something I really learned from Stoicism. In the past, I would do that most people do, judge and never look in the mirror. It's really easy to look at someone who display unacceptable behavior and then think you are better than them. Oh, look at this guy who's drunk on the plane. What on assault? Who does that? I said that to my brother. Once we were on a flight many years ago. Now I challenge myself to adopt the Marcus Aurelius approach. When you are confronted with bad behavior, see it as an opportunity to avoid judgment, instead look inwardly. Thank you.